Good morning, everyone. This is Al coming to you once again. And today, folks, I want to talk about Florida's dinner shows, or rather the defunct dinner shows. There was a golden age of dinner shows, folks, and it lasted up until about the year 2000. And where I'm standing right here, you can see it's an Aldi supermarket. And I'm going to turn you around in a few minutes, but I just want to talk about all the dinner shows that existed here in Orlando up until about the year 2000, 2010. There was a golden age where we had so many dinner shows down here. Just to name a few that are gone right now: Arabian Nights. Remember Arabian Nights? King Henry's Feast. Right here, on this land right here, was Fort Liberty. We had Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede. So many dinner shows that are just gone. Let me turn you around over here and we'll keep on talking. Okay, so folks, where you're looking right now, and I'm going to throw a picture in here, this whole land right here was actually a show called Fort Liberty. And I remember coming here when my son Matt was really, really little, and me and my wife came here, and this whole thing was a fort. And this particular dinner show was owned by a company in Las Vegas. And that particular dinner show, actually that particular company, actually also owned King Henry's Feast. And the company went bankrupt in about the year 2000. So for the longest time, this land sat here. Little by little, bits and pieces of the fort kind of went away. What it was you had the fort, and I'll throw a picture up over here. You had a fort, and the land was, I mean, obviously they had a lot of land here. And they had like a little village set up where you could go into like a blacksmith shop, and there were different stores here, and you came by and you take pictures with all the characters. But right here was where that fort was. And it was a really nice thing. And all of these shows, folks, I mean, they were pretty similar. You know, you went in there, they were kind of like the way Medieval Times is. And Medieval Times is right along the strip. If you're familiar with the strip, obviously it's 192. And we're actually at the station right here. That's the Ill Horse station right there. And this is right beyond Celebration, right before Poinciana Boulevard. So you had this show right over here. In fact, let me walk over a little more. If you guys aren't totally familiar with it, I'll show you something over here that will probably give you a nice geographical fix as to where you are. So stand by. So there you are. Right across the street is the Wizard. There's actually two of these Wizards. You have one here on 192, sort of in Eastgate, as we call it. And then there's another one in Westgate. So right about there, if you're familiar with that, you have the Ichiban Buffet and Ilhor Junction. But right here, folks, this is where you had that dinner show. And right now, it's just an Aldi's. And, these dinner shows, wow, that was different. I actually gave directions. I haven't given too many directions since leaving Brooklyn, since walking my dog around Brooklyn. But like I was telling you, folks, the dinner shows were all pretty much the same in the sense that you went in there and some of the food was basically the same stuff. You went in there and you got like chicken and a baked potato, and you had like all the free soda you could drink. You got like, they would say pastries of the castle, and it was like one cupcake. Probably my one legitimate gripe about all these dinner shows, and if anybody watches this channel, you know what I'm going to say, most of them were Pepsi. And I'm a Coca-Cola guy, so that was always like my one little gripe about those dinner shows. But the food, there was an old saying, there was more of a focus on the sizzle than the steak. And that's pretty much what it was. I mean, that was pretty much what it was. So what would happen is, as you guys would know, you'd go through the dinner show and they would come out. You'd have like either a man or a woman. They'd be dressed up like, if it was King Henry's Feast, like Old England, or if it was the fort right here, they were dressed up as cowboys. So it was kind of cool. So, you went in there and there was a nice little show. But like I said, folks, it was a golden age of that stuff. And I don't know why. I mean, I guess the company went out of business in the year 2000. So that was a big reason why that went out. Arabian Nights, I think the same situation was that they just kind of ran short on money. I mean, Arabian Nights had a tremendous upkeep. They had a lot of horses, and I guess it was just a lot of money for them. And I mean, I don't know why it kind of all culminated in the year 2000. There wasn't really, I mean, the last big theme park that opened up, I don't know. I think what it really came down to was people had done them a couple of times, and Orlando is such that as these big 3 theme parks get bigger and bigger, I remember when I was a kid, you'd come down here and, you'd be down here for a couple of days. And if you were here for a week, you were looking for more stuff to do. But now you could go to any one of these resorts and stay at that one place for over a week. And then when you multiply it by 3, it just comes down to basic economy, and just nobody has the time to go to these other shows. And for the most part, the people that live here, every so often you go to something like that, but it's just not enough to keep that revenue generated. So stay tuned, folks. I'm going to go to the next one. So you saw this was, like I said, Liberty Fort, or Liberty, and Fort Liberty rather. And what I'm going to do after this is I'm going to go over to where Arabian Nights used to be and show you what that is, or what's left of that. Not too much, but you'll see what's left of it. Stand by. Alrighty, so here we are where Arabian Nights used to be. And I'm going to show you there's not much left of Arabian Nights anymore. It's actually still called Arabian Nights Boulevard. So let me turn you around over here for a sec. Hold on. So the building that you're looking at right there, that used to be Arabian Nights. Now, you have Twisty Treat over here now, but this structure back here is what's remaining of Arabian Nights. And I guess this is part of the new hotel. I can't go any farther than where I'm going, but just to swing you around a little bit this way, just to give you an idea, the Nike factory is right there, which is right across from Celebration. But if you guys remember, and I'm going to throw a picture of this over here, you're going to remember that they had the stallions. They had a white stallion and they had a black stallion standing up, and the white one was like a unicorn. So those 2 stallions used to be right over there in that area right there. And like I said, I'm actually going to walk out to the street, to the avenue, and I'm going to show you the sign which actually says Arabian Nights. But before I do, I just want to talk about some of these places a little bit more. So if you guys remember, I'll do another day. I'll go over to King Henry's Feast. That's actually an Olive Garden right now. So King Henry's Feast was on International Drive, and right next to the Dave & Buster's that's there right now. So it's currently an Olive Garden, and probably will be for a really long time. As I just showed you right here, the Arabian Nights on 192, that's just part of the hotel right now. The Fort Liberty is the Aldi's. Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede, that's actually part of the outlets now. This Dixie Stampede was actually right off of I-4, right before SeaWorld's. SeaWorld's exit was 71, so I guess it's right between, right around exit 71, right before that. On the right-hand side, you would have seen that. What was really nice about Dolly Parton's place was that she used to put up a really huge Christmas tree, kind of a Christmas tree as big as the one that I'm used to in Rockefeller Center. And what was really nice is she started doing it. She was the first one to decorate out of everywhere. So she had that Christmas tree up usually around September, or even before sometimes. So she was really ahead of the game. But I guess that one didn't become profitable for her. So before I show you the Arabian Nights sign, I'm going to show you again where those stallions would have been. So stand by. So right here is the road where you would have come out of Arabian Nights over here, and you would have driven out, and Nike factory on your left. You would have driven up this road to come in, and the stallions would have been up there on your right hand side. They also had a digital board on the right over there, right on the side there, which it said Arabian Nights. It told you when the shows took place. So let me walk down the road right now and show you a little bit closer. So here we are, folks. If you look over my head or over my shoulder, you'll still see the sign there for Arabian Nights Boulevard. And you have the sign right over there. And I'm going to show you another sign right over here. So this is Highway 192. Of course, we're at mile marker number 8. So you got the Arabian Nights sign over here, right there. And let's show you that one up here. It's a little close, I know. But there you go. That's Arabian Nights. So when you drove into it, like I say, you would have seen those stallions right over there. And this is what you would have seen coming into it. Of course, like I said, mile marker number 8. Just a quick note as to what's still here. You could still go over to Capone's. That's still open on 192. That's kind of near the big Walmart down here. The original Walmart on 192. Capone's is still there. Capone's Dinner Show. They do like an Italian buffet down there. You also have, I think you have Pirates Dinner Show is still open. I mean, now we got the COVID situation going on, so I don't know what's going on with that particular show. but I believe that show was still in existence. And finally, the granddaddy of all these shows, Medieval Times, is still over there. And I think they're still doing decently well. I don't think it does as well as it used to. I know a couple of them have closed down. And, you know, I know for me, going to that show, I'm, you know, believe it or not, folks, people are, the animal that people are most allergic to is horses. And people don't know it because they're not really around them. And I know for me, the last time I went to that show, it was actually a weird, chilly night in Orlando. So they actually closed the whole barn down. And the dandruff that comes off of the horses, I had like an asthma attack. I mean, I don't even have asthma, but like I had to like walk outside because, and then I ended up going to the doctor and they were like, yeah, you know, you're probably allergic to horses, because I am allergic to cats and dogs to a slight extent. That's why if you watch my videos, we have Curly. He's a Bichon Frise, and he's hypoallergenic. I mean, he has anything from the poodle variety. They have hair instead of fur, and it's essentially once the dog licks the fur, it creates the dandruff. It's the saliva mixed with the fur creates the dandruff, and that's what causes the allergy. So if you guys, you know, Curly's not with me today, but if you guys look back at my videos, you'll see my good friend Curly, and he's hypoallergenic, and no problem with Curly as far as the sneezing goes. So I just wanted to drop that information in there for you. Everyone, just on a final note, I just wanted to thank everybody for watching. The channel is monetized now. So if this is the first video that you're watching from me, I appreciate you watching. And my wife and I lost our son a year ago, and we're starting a foundation. It's called the Waffles Foundation. We have our application in for our 501c, non-for-profit. And any money I make on this channel is going to be going towards suicide prevention. My son, he died of suicide. So we are going to start a foundation for him in his honor. I was very close to my son, extremely so. And I miss him very, very much. And, you know, when something like that happens, you have like a, I don't know what you want to call it, but it's kind of like a, for me, I just feel better when I talk about him because I feel like he's still here. And I want to honor his memory by creating a foundation where every 40 seconds, folks, someone commits suicide in the United States. There's a lot of people out there in trouble, so we're going to do our best to help them along. My son Matt was a musician, a really brilliant guitarist, could play anything on strings really, really well. And so the other half of the foundation is going to be the distribution of musical instruments to kids or pretty much anybody in need who wants to play and can't afford an instrument or can't afford lessons. We're going to hook them up with lessons. We're going to just do all that we can to help them. So folks, if you can subscribe to the channel, that'd be great. It's a free subscription, obviously. Just, you know, hit that subscribe and hit the bell. Every time I do a video, you'll get notified. And I appreciate it very, very much. If you go on Facebook, you can keep up with our progress on the Waffles Foundation. Just go on to Facebook, and if you could like the page, that'd be great. As we speak, I have a website being made up for my good friend out in Colorado, BrainScan Media, Tom. If you need a fantastic website, folks, look him up. He is absolutely fabulous. And hopefully within a week or two, we should have that website up and running. And once we get our non-for-profit number, we should be cranking along, and we should be doing some good stuff. We're going to be doing some percussion for prevention. So folks, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe. This is Al signing off from Central Florida after a grave shift. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, folks. Bye-bye now.